Namaste, friends. I'm Heather Wiest with Love Serve Inspire, and today I'll be guiding you through Trust the Twist, all levels slow flow. For today's practice, we'll be using one yoga block or a thick book and a yoga bolster or 2 pillows. I am here to guide you, but you're always your best teacher. So please listen to your body, stay safe, and have fun. We're going to begin today's class by lying on our backs. So you're going to go ahead and come on down. Make sure you have your block nearby. Maybe you take a full body stretch. And then we're going to begin by placing a bend into the knees and taking the feet as wide as the mat. We're going to be taking a pinwheel twist to open up through the front of the thighs and through a little bit of a twisting action. So I'm going to go ahead and take my block underneath between my legs so that my left leg can rest on it. I'm going to go ahead and take both knees to the right and find a pinwheel twist. So again, that block or a thick book, if you have it, is being used to support my left thigh so it's not hanging in space. And then we're going to take one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly, and just drawing your attention to your breath. So beginning to deepen your inhales and exhales through the nose. And I want you to just pay attention to the space between the hands, between the heart and the belly. This is a great technique called 10 seconds to center. So it takes us out of our mind and into our bodies quickly. So if you ever feel a little anxious or your brain is just going crazy, this is a great way just to ground and center into the body. So again, one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, and just draw your attention to the space between the hands as you breathe deeply in and out through the nose. Beginning to settle into our space and our practice. Inviting in the collective intention today of hold the vision and trust the process. Hold the vision and trust the process. Just thinking how that might resonate with you today. Three more full breaths on this side. And then very gently, you're going to release the hands off of the torso. Just bring them to the side. We're going to draw the knees back to center, and then we're going to take our pinwheel twist to the left. So you may have to adjust your block or not. It may support that right leg just great. And then we're going to take cactus arms here, or maybe just a soft W if the cactus arms, if your wrists do not ground, just open up the arms a little wider, more like in a W shape. Just softly opening through the chest and shoulders. Continuing with that fullness of that breath. So when we think of hold the vision and trust the process, the word vision is very interesting because it's really that deep felt, that heart and soul visions you have for your life, for yourself, for your loved ones. And just really taking this still time to think about your visions. They're a little bit different than dreams. They're more heartfelt and more brought about from the soul. And just trusting the process of those visions, knowing that there's a divine force that has a perfect timing for those visions. And sometimes even those visions become a no or a yes or maybe a not yet. So just trusting divine will and timing. So I'm offering a collective intention today. I embrace the visions in my heart and soul. I trust that they'll manifest in divine will and timing. I embrace the visions in my heart and soul. I trust that they'll manifest in divine will and timing. So sometimes we have to trust the twists that come in our lives, those unexpected no's or not yets, and just trust that there is that divine force looking over us for the highest good of ourselves and our loved ones and those around us. So bringing in any other intentions that you want to bring into your practice today. It could be a positive affirmation, a prayer, or a deep heart longing. Three more full breaths here. And then we'll gently draw the legs back to center. You're going to go ahead and reach for that block or that book that you may have. We're going to go ahead and take in between the inner thighs. From here, you're going to take your arms out to the side like a T with the palms grounding down onto the floor or the mat. You're going to pick your feet off the mat and you're going to bring your shins and calves parallel with your mat. It's like you're sitting in a chair, but you're on your back. We're going to go ahead and take some nice side opening rotations here with the torso. So as you exhale, you're going to bring your knees halfway to the right. You're hugging into that block. And then you're going to inhale back to center. I like to keep my feet flexed. It helps me to engage my legs a little bit more. And then exhale halfway over to the left. You're going to inhale back up, and you're going to decide how far you'd like to go, what feels good for your lower back. So I find this to be really yummy. It feels good in my body to just take that nice little twist. I feel it into the lower back, more like a stretch, and it feels very nice. So honor your body. You don't have to go as far as halfway, or you may take it even a little farther. So you just want to engage through the core here to protect your low back. So imagine the navel point drawing down towards the spine. So we're going to take a few more each side. Let it feel good, keeping the shoulders grounded. Allow that rotation and twist to come into the spine. So exhale as you twist and you inhale back up to center. Let it feel good here. You may feel a little warmness into the side bodies, which is the goal. We'll take one more each side. And then finding center. We're gently going to release that block off to the side. Maybe it feels good to take a full body stretch or hug the knees into the chest. And then we're going to go ahead, if you're not already, we'll hug the knees into the chest. You can rock a little side to side. And then we're going to keep the right knee into the chest, and we're going to extend the left leg on the mat long, a nice flex into that foot, both feet actually. And then take the left arm underneath the right hamstring, just supporting it, and the right arm can come overhead on the mat behind you. So you're getting a nice stretch from your left toes to right fingertips, and you can adjust that right thigh anywhere that feels good. You can take it more outward of the torso or closer into midline. Let it feel good. Couple more full breaths, getting a nice stretch. Staying breath connected throughout your practice today. We'll go ahead and take the knees into the chest, and then we'll keep that left knee in. Right leg will come long. Right arm will come underneath that left hamstring. Left arm overhead on the mat. So what's so fascinating about visions? Most of the time they are future focused. It's something that we see ahead that might occur, or something we hope or anticipate for. But the process keeps us in the present moment, trusting that process. Our breath keeps us in the present moment in our practice as we move from pose to pose. So staying breath connected today with your movements. We're going to go ahead and hug both knees into the chest. You're going to reach for behind the hamstrings. We're going to rock up to seated. If you need to transition onto your side, please do so. I'm going to come on up, and we'll transition into tabletop position on hands and knees. Finding tabletop, spreading the fingers wide. You have the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees. The feet are relaxed behind you. We're going to go ahead and inhale, bring the head and the heart forward. And then exhale, round through the upper back and draw the navel to spine. Let it feel good here as we continue with the fullness of the breath. Inhale as you come into your cow, and exhale, cat. So feel free to add in any additional movements here. You can wag the hips side to side. You can take some big hip circles, anything that feels nice for your body. We have about 3 more full breaths. Notice how your body's showing up today. One more full round of breath. And then we'll find our neutral tabletop. We're going to take our right toes back on the mat with a nice flex into the foot. I'm going to push away with my hands, getting a beautiful stretch in that right leg, and even the frontal hip points lift, so I feel more of a stretch into that right hip flexor. Relax through the head and neck, gaze is just straight down on the mat. And then we'll cross that right leg over the left, push more into your right palm as you gaze over the left shoulder. Continue to draw your navel to spine, supporting your low back, but feel a really yummy stretch along your right side body. And then we're going to go ahead and inhale back to center, bringing the right knee to the mat. We'll inhale the left toes back. Find that nice stretch, frontal hip points lift. Should feel it all the way from your toes up through the leg. Wherever you feel it the most is where you need it the most. And then we're going to cross over, rooting more into that left hand as you gaze over the right shoulder. Feel really nice stretch all along your left side body. Continuing to engage that lower belly to protect the back. And then we'll go ahead and return the left leg back to center and the left knee down. We're going to take shoulder, thread the needle next. So we're going to inhale the left arm out to the side. We're going to thread it through the right. The left ear, cheek, temple come to the mat. And the variation I like the most is just bringing that right arm a little bit more forward. So really soften in as we open up through both shoulders. That right shoulder drops down just a tad, and you're really releasing that left shoulder. 2 more full breaths. And then we're going to go ahead and inhale, bring that right hand underneath the shoulder. We'll inhale all the way back up to center. And we'll take that to the other side. The right arm will come out on the inhale. As you exhale, you'll thread through, and the right ear and temple come down to the mat, and the left arm will come forward. Softening through that left shoulder, and really allow a nice opening through the right shoulder. Full deep breaths. Last full inhale and exhale. We're going to go ahead and walk those left fingertips back underneath the shoulder. We'll inhale back up to center, taking puppy dog pose. Both arms are going to come forward, and you're going to allow the hips to stay high as the forehead drops down towards the mat. So keep the upper outer arms especially engaged here, pushing the hands into the mat, and feel a nice opening into your spine, especially that upper back. Another deep, full breath. We're going to go ahead and inhale on up, walking the palms back. We're going to prepare for downward facing dog. We're going to tuck the toes under. As you exhale, the hips are going to come up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So really pushing the hands down and away. Upper outer arms are turned on, and tops of the thighs are pressing back and up. And then the frontal hip points lift a little, or those front ribs really hug in. Just feel the sensation of your core turning on here and stabilizing. Relax the head a little bit more as it rests between the biceps. We're going to bend into the left knee and ground the right heel down to comfort. So feel a stretch into your right leg. We're just holding here, allowing that stretch to happen. Again, wherever you feel it is where your body needs it. And we're going to go ahead and switch. We'll ground the left heel down to comfort and bend into the right knee. Holding here. Let it feel good into that left leg. Continuing to grip all areas of the hand into the mat. And then both heels will ground down and we'll come up into the balls of the feet. We're going to swivel the heels over to the right corner of the mat and then place a generous bend into your right knee. I want you to feel that nice stretch into the left leg. Usually the outside of the leg, you might feel it in the hip, while trying to stabilize through the shoulders. One more full breath. Then we'll inhale back to center, grounding the heels down to the left. Place a generous bend into the left knee and feel that stretch into the right leg, maybe into the hip. And then we're going to go ahead and inhale back to center. You're going to take your feet as wide as your mat, and you're going to walk your hands halfway back. We're going to do a short down dog twist. I'm going to keep the right hand centered down in the middle of the mat. I'm going to take the left hand on the outside of the ankle, or maybe it's the calf or shin for you. So finding a little bit of a forward fold, and then go ahead and take the gaze underneath that right armpit if it's comfortable for you. Finding a nice twist while keeping your pelvis level and neutral. So really taking the twist into the spine, not the hips. Should feel good. One more full breath on this side. And we're going to go ahead and walk that left hand back. We're going to replace it with the right, and then take that right hand to the outside of the left ankle or shin or calf. And then if you want to twist a little bit more, you're going to take the gaze underneath the left armpit. So again, pelvis is staying neutral here. The twist is coming from the spine. So as you inhale, you can really fill up, and exhale, find a little more range of motion in your twist as the body warms up and it's ready. One more full breath. Then we're going to go ahead and walk the hand back to center. You're going to heel toe your feet in to a little bit of hip width distance or a little bit wider. Bend into the knees and clasp opposite elbows for a ragdoll forward fold. So let the head and neck go. Again, release the lower back by bending into the knees. Maybe you sway a little side to side here. One more full breath. And then grounding the hands to the mat, bringing the feet in a little bit more if you need to. Hands to the hips on the next inhale. With a flat back, we'll come up to standing. Let the blood flow come back into the body and just moving a little bit more forward onto the mat. We're going to prepare for our half sun salutation. So finding Tadasana, comfortable stance for you, finding a point of focus, really lengthening the tailbone down, shoulders are drawing back, you have that nice posture. There's a slight tuck of the chin. So you feel yourself grounding into the mat, into the earth, but the crown of the head lifting to the heavens. So for our half sun salutation today, we're going to be taking standing half moon with it and drawing the hands down through heart center. So you can follow me here. We're going to inhale the arms up and overhead. I'm going to interlace, the index finger extends, and I'm going to cross at the thumbs. I'm going to exhale over towards the right. And I'm going to inhale to center, exhale to the left, a standing half moon, and come to center. I'm going to exhale, lead with that heart, bend at the hip crease as I forward fold. You can bend the knees as much as you need to. I'm going to inhale for the half lift, hands come to the outsides of the shins so I don't hyperextend. And then I'll forward fold a little bit more, let the head go. Rooting through the feet, sweeping the arms to the sides, up and overhead. And then exhale, hands to heart, those front ribs knit together. Inhaling the arms up, interlace at the top. We'll exhale over towards the right. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. Inhaling on up. Lead with that heart as you come forward, fold down, bend the knees as much as you need to. Inhaling, half lift, really extend through the spine, collarbones expand, and then exhale, fold. Rooting through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart, those front ribs knit together. Last round here. Inhaling the arms up, interlace at the top. Exhale over towards the right. Keep your feet planted. Let it feel good. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhaling on up. Exhale, forward fold, extended spine coming all the way down. Uttanasana. Inhaling, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Root through the feet, sweep the arms up. Urdhva Hasta in Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. Beautiful job. We're going to add on here, so make sure you're towards the top of your mat. We're going to inhale the arms up and overhead. Interlace at the top. Exhale over towards the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale on up. Exhale, lead with that heart, extended spine, bend the knees as much as you need. Forward fold. Inhaling for your half lift, nice extended spine. Exhale, plant the hands. We're going to take the right leg back, low lunge. We're going to release the right knee to the mat, and we're going to inhale up for crescent B pose. So really stabilizing here by hugging into midline. We're going to take the arms into a cactus shape here, really engaging the shoulder blades on the back. And then we're going to inhale the arms up, and we're going to twist to the left. So finding the right arm forward, the left arm back, you're nice and upright in your pose, and hugging into midline to find your center. You're welcome to stay here in a twisted crescent B, or we're going to draw the hands in Anjali Mudra, just bringing them together, and deepening the twist by taking that left elbow or right elbow on the outside of the left thigh. Then you can bring your left elbow towards the ceiling or sky and push the palms together. So we're challenging our balance here while we're taking a deeper twist. So work with your breath here as you inhale, really lengthen through both side bodies. And then as you exhale, maybe you find a little bit deeper of a twist. On the inhale, we're going to go ahead and come back to twisted crescent and then back up to crescent B. We're going to release the hands to the mat. We're going to straighten through the left leg. You can always bend into the knee for a half split. So today's variation, I'm a little bit more folded over my leg. I'm rooting the heel into the mat, and energetically the heel's drawing back towards the glute, and then feel free to release down to comfort. So feeling that stretch all along the left hamstring. You're welcome to keep the toes towards the ceiling, or you can angle them about a quarter or half turn to the left to find a nice IT band stretch on that left leg. A few more breaths here. Let it feel good. One more breath. Drawing the toes back to center if they're not already, and then we'll ground the foot to the mat, returning to our low lunge by tucking the back toe under and releasing the knee. We're going to take three-legged downward facing dog. So the left leg is going to come up and back. You have a nice neutral pelvis to begin with. We're going to go ahead and bend into that left knee, and then we're going to open up to the hip here, getting a nice opening for the inner thigh, the outer hip. You're going to stabilize through the shoulders by pressing into the hands. And the last breath here, try to draw that left knee a little bit more to the ceiling or sky. Then we're going to go ahead and straighten through the left leg. Bring it back to a neutral position with the pelvis. Left foot to the mat. We're going to inhale into plank pose. We're going to exhale through chaturanga, and feel free to come to the knees at any time, all the way down to the mat. Going to release the tops of the feet, push through the tops of the feet, kneecaps lift, elbows hug in as you inhale for your low cobra. Exhale back down. You're going to tuck the toes. You're going to lift through half or full plank. And then exhale, tops of the thighs bring you back. Downward facing dog. Another full inhale. And exhale. We're going to float the right leg up and back. Three-legged downward facing dog. We're going to take that right foot up between the hands for our low lunge. You're going to gently release the left knee to the mat and inhale the arms up for crescent B pose. So hugging into midline, finding your balance here in your crescent B. I don't have my back toes tucked, but if you'd like to tuck them under, that usually helps with balance. So we're going to go ahead and take our cactus arms here. Then we're going to inhale the arms up, and then we'll be twisting to the right. So you have the right arm back, the left arm forward. So remember to hug into midline. Imagine the inner thighs squeezing together like scissors to help find that balance. Option is stay here or bring the palms together, push them together, activate the arms, and then go ahead and take that left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Then that right elbow will come towards the ceiling or sky and push more into the palms to find a deeper twist. So as you inhale, really lengthening through both side bodies, and as you exhale, find a little more twist. Let it feel good here. One more full breath. Then we're going to go ahead and release back to twisted crescent, and then back up to crescent B. And then taking the hands down, we'll be straightening through that front leg for our half split. So again, remember to really root the heel into the mat, and energetically that heel draws back towards the right glute, really finding more extension and stretch. You're welcome to keep the right toes to the sky, or you can angle them over to the right for more of an IT band stretch on the outside of the right leg. Wherever you're at, just soften into the stretch. You can always bend that right knee as much as you need to. Last breath here. And then as you're ready, you'll bring the toes back up. We'll ground the foot down, tuck the back toes under, release the left knee off the mat, low lunge. We're going to take that right leg up and back, three-legged downward facing dog. We have a neutral positioning with the hip to begin. We'll place a bend into the right knee, and then stabilizing through the hands and shoulders, you're going to open up through that hip. Let it feel good here. Couple more full breaths. Maybe you reach the knee a little bit more to the ceiling or the sky. And then we'll extend the right leg long again, back to a neutral positioning, and then back to downward facing dog. We'll inhale into plank pose, shoulders over the wrists, drop to the knees if you need to. Exhale through chaturanga, all the way to the mat, or maybe you take an upward facing dog this time. Honor your body here. Transitioning through plank if you're in that low cobra, and then returning to downward facing dog. Another complete inhale, turning those upper outer arms on, pushing into the mat. Tops of the thighs down and away, front ribs hugging in. We're going to bend into the knees. You're going to gaze forward. You're going to step or float to the top of the mat. Inhaling for your half lift. Exhale, fold. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Great job, everyone. We're going to add on here. So just make sure you have a block nearby. We're going to go ahead and inhale the arms up. Interlace at the top. Exhale over towards the right. Inhaling to center. And exhale to the left. Inhaling to center, exhale, forward fold, extend with that spine. Inhaling for your half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, bend the knees. That right leg's going to come back. We're going to prepare for crescent pose very slowly. You got that strong back leg. That right or left thigh is drawing back and under. We're going to take the hands a couple inches off the mat to create some space between that thigh and pelvis. Then the arms by the ears, and then lifting Anjaneyasana, crescent pose. So let it feel good in your body. Arms reaching towards the ceiling. Tailbone lengthening down as the frontal hip points lift a little here. We're going to take those cactus arms. We're going to inhale the arms up, and we're going to twist to the left. Right arm forward, left arm back. So again, really hugging into midline here. You're welcome to stay in the twisted crescent. We're going to bring the palms to touch, and we're going to go ahead and hook that right elbow on the outside of that left thigh. So really engaging that back leg, hugging into midline, pushing into the hands, find more range of motion in your twist. One more full breath wherever you're at. Then we're going to return back up to that twisted crescent, and then back up into crescent pose. We're going to bring the hands to the hips. And we're going to go ahead and bump that back foot up. We're going to prepare for a revolved pose. So for this pose, I like to have a block on the outside of that left foot. All right, so we're going to start with the hands on the hips, and we're going to keep that left hand right here at that hip crease. We're going to inhale the right arm up, and we're going to go ahead and extend that right arm forward. And then we're going to reach down for that block. Maybe you can take it at a lower level, or maybe you don't need the block at all. You can take the hand to the mat. So we're keeping the pelvis very neutral here. And if you need to take a wider stance with the feet for balance, please do so. So I'm going to root my right hand into the floor or block. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the left arm out to the side. And as I exhale, I'm going to look to the left and twist to the left. So revolved triangle pose. A lot of twisting in the pose. Again, feel free to adjust your block, adjust your stance to make it work in your body. Couple more full breaths here as you draw that left thigh back and in. Strong legs. You can always micro bend into the knees. Option to stay here, or we're going to take Revolved Half Moon. So I'm just going to take my block. I'm going to walk it up a little bit here. I'm going to keep my hand on that block. I'm going to lift that back leg up. There we go. Such a strong pose. Flex into that foot. It's like you're hitting that back wall. If you can, the gaze comes to the left, finding your Revolved Half Moon option or staying in Revolved Triangle. Couple more breaths wherever you're at. So we're going to go ahead and transition back to crescent twist. So I'm going to take that right foot back, and then I'm going to go ahead and lift on up for crescent twist pose. So everybody finding that here. Then we're going to windmill the arms, seal the back foot down, transitioning into warrior two. You might have to try that again. It's all good. So just windmilling the arms, transitioning into Virabhadrasana 2. So that front knee is right over the ankle, tracking over the second toe. Left thigh is rolling down and under, and that back leg is nice and strong. Inner thigh rotating down a little bit towards the mat to free up the low back. Super strong pose here. Find your focus over that front hand. We're going to flip our front palm, taking reverse warrior, lightly touching the back leg. Keep a nice space between that front pelvis and thigh. Get a stretch on that left side body. Keep the bend into the front knee. One more full breath. Then we're going to inhale back to warrior two, transitioning into side angle pose. So that arm can lightly rest on the thigh, right arm to the sky. We're going to work in towards the half wrap and bind option here. So if you like, you can take that right hand behind the back, tucking into the waist. If you're working into the full bind, left arm comes underneath the thigh and glute, reaching for the right hand or wrist. And then you open up the chest and gaze classically towards the sky. If that's too much for you, you can look down to the mat. 3 more full breaths. Such a strong pose. Inhale, lengthen through the side bodies. Exhale, twist. We're going to go ahead and release the bind, straightening through the front leg for Trikonasana. The hand can come on the inside, outside of the foot, or resting on the shin or ankle. Right arm continues to the sky. Feel a nice opening into your side bodies, a little micro bend into the left knee. One more full breath. We're going to keep the strong straight legs and just windmill the arms back for reverse triangle, lightly touching the back leg, left arm to the sky, opening up through that left side body. And then we'll inhale back to warrior two. If you have that block, we're just going to inch a little bit forward. We're going to work into half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. So from here, warrior two, I'm going to shift and lift the back leg up. You can use your block here if you'd like, any level. And once you have that, really flex through that foot. Right arm to the sky, and maybe you take your gaze towards the right. My balance is not working with this block. So you just come out and you try again. It's a practice, not a perfect. Find your variation of half moon for today. Lengthening the tailbone towards that back heel. One more full breath. And then we're going to go ahead and bend into the front knee, coming back gracefully into Virabhadrasana 2. Find a point of focus. Bend into that front knee. Imagine those heels scrubbing together, so energetically lifting up through the inner thighs, the pelvic floor, all the way through the crown of the head. We're going to cartwheel the hands to the mat. We'll take the left leg back to plank pose. Option to come to the knees. Exhale through chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Strong legs. Transitioning through plank if you're in low cobra. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Full deep inhale here. And exhale. Beautiful. We're going to take all that on the other side. So we're going to float the right leg up and back, three-legged downward facing dog. We're going to go ahead and bring that right foot up between the hands for your low lunge. We're going to prepare for crescent pose slowly here, lifting the hands a couple inches off the mat. As that right thigh draws back and in, you have a super strong back leg. Arms by the ears. Use the strength of the core and the legs to bring you on up. Anjaneyasana. Tailbone lengthens down, opening through that front hip flexor. Strong arms and a strong focus. We'll take our arms into cactus shape. We'll inhale the arms up and we'll twist to the right. Right arm back, left arm forward. Very strong back leg. Hug into midline here to find your balance. You're welcome to stay in twisted crescent. We're going to bring the palms to touch, and then we're going to go ahead and hook that left elbow on the outside of the right thigh. Push into the hands, right elbow towards the sky, and find a deeper twist. Maybe you could gaze a little bit behind you. Full inhales, really drawing into both side bodies, and then exhale, finding your twist from low belly, mid belly, and chest. One more full breath. We're going to go ahead and inhale back up to twisted crescent pose. From here, we're going to go ahead and take the arms back into crescent, and we'll take the hands to the hips. We're going to bump that back foot in, and we're going to find our block on the outside of the right foot. There we go. So again, you don't need to have your feet like tracks or like a slack line. You can have them more like railroad tracks. So you can take your foot out for balance if you need to. So we're going to keep the hand on the hip. We're going to inhale the left arm up, preparing for Revolved Triangle. So you really want to extend forward. You're keeping the hips neutral, the pelvis neutral. And then you're going to take that left hand to the block or maybe the floor. And then the right arm will come out to the side. And as you exhale, you're going to twist to the right. So you're hugging everything into midline to find your balance. And you're finding a really deep twist into the spine, into your torso. So again, inhaling, lengthening through both side bodies. Exhale, rotate from low belly, mid belly, and chest. Option to stay here or come into that revolved half moon. So I like to shift the block a little bit more forward. I'm going to lift the left leg off of the mat, a hard flex into the foot. Continuing to gaze to the right, finding that strong variation, revolved half moon. Two more full breaths wherever you're at. We're going to transition into that twisted crescent. So you're going to reach that left leg back, Coming back into twisted crescent. Nice job. So we're going to prepare for that warrior two. So you're just going to windmill the arms, seal the back foot down, finding Virabhadrasana two. Nice bend into that front knee. That right thigh is rolling down and under. Left thigh is pushing back and internally rotating a little bit to release through the low back. Strong arms and a strong focus. Again, you can imagine those heels scrubbing together, activating the inner thighs, the adductors, helping to engage that pelvic floor all the way up through the crown of the head. We're going to flip the front palm, preparing for reverse warrior. Right arm to the sky, creating a nice stretch through that right side body, keeping that generous bend into the front knee, a light touch to the back. And then we'll inhale back to Virabhadrasana 2, preparing for side angle pose. So that arm can lightly rest on the thigh, left arm to the sky, and then we're going to prepare for the half wrap full bind variation. So if you like, you can take that left hand behind the back. If you want the full bind, the right arm will come underneath the thigh and the glute, reaching for the right hand or wrist. And then you open up through the chest and gaze towards that sky or the mat. Keep the bend in the front knee. Few more breaths here. Such a strong pose as you roll that right thigh down and under, engaging everything as you breathe. One more breath. We're going to release the right hand to the mat, left arm to the sky as you straighten through the front leg for a triangle pose. You can move the hand here to the shin and ankle. Just let it feel good in your side bodies as you draw the shoulders away from the ears. One more deep full breath. We're going to keep the strong straight legs and windmill the arm back, reverse triangle pose. And then inhaling back to Virabhadrasana 2. We're going to prepare for half moon pose. So I'm going to adjust my block to where I know I can use it. I'm going to adjust my stance to where I have room. So as you're ready, you'll be shifting and lifting. You can use the block or not. Strong leg, a nice flex into the foot. So I like to start with the gaze at the mat, and to challenge my balance, I take the gaze to the left. There's a lot to that. So really engage all of your muscles. Work with the twist here, finding your Ardha Chandrasana. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Tailbone lengthens towards that back heel. Super strong legs, strong pose. One more full breath. I'm going to bend into that front knee, gracefully returning to Virabhadrasana 2. Finding your warrior 2. Strong legs here. Deep in the bend. Gauge the core, tailbone lengthens down. And as you're ready, we'll cartwheel the hands to the mat. The right leg will come back to plank pose. You're welcome to come to the knees. We'll exhale through chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra, upward facing dog. Transitioning through plank if you're in low cobra, we'll all meet in down dog. Nice deep inhale here. And exhale. We're going to go ahead and take the knees down for child's pose. Knees as wide as the mat. Big toes to touch. And release the hips back to comfort. 5 full breaths here. Staying breath connected. Hold the vision and trust the process. I embrace the vision in my heart and soul. I trust that it'll manifest in divine will and timing. One more full breath here. We're going to inhale, rising back to plank pose, back to downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, we're going to bend into the knees. You're going to gaze forward. You're going to step or float to the top of the mat. Inhaling for your half lift and exhale, fold. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Just allowing the eyes to close here. Finding a comfortable stance for your feet. And just feeling sensations in the body. Just taking moments to really feel what's happening inside. Noticing the energy moving, noticing how we're feeling, honoring our body in every way, and listening to our heart and soul. And softly opening the eyes. All right, so we're going to add on a little bit here. So we're going to prepare for Utkatasana, fierce pose. So finding your fierce pose, squatting down. The feet can be at a comfortable stance for you. And to begin, we're going to take both hands to the top of the thighs and press down. Get a nice lengthening through the low back. Then we'll take our hands heart center. We're going to work our twisting action here. So you're in control of how much you do. You can do a lot or you can do a little. So listen to your body. We're going to twist to the right. We're going to take the left elbow on the outside of that right thigh, and we're going to draw that left thigh back into center. Pushing into the hands, find a nice twist. And then we'll go ahead and come to center and exhale towards the left. Find another full breath in the twist. And then inhaling to center. I have to scoot up a little bit. We're going to twist one more time to the right. We're going to hold here, and you're going to become heavy into the right foot, and we're going to take that left foot back. So you're finding that twisted crescent pose. Beautiful job. We're going to work into the full bind here if you want, or half wrap. You're welcome to stay here or extend the arms long. Work that right arm behind the back. The left arm will come under, and you try to reach. It's such a deep pose. It may or may not happen. One more full breath. And then we'll bring both hands to the mat. Right leg up and back, three-legged dog. We're going to exhale the knee in towards the nose and inhale back. Knee over towards that left elbow, holding, straighten through the leg, float it, and then ground it down, root through the right hand, left arm to the sky for fallen triangle. Get a nice opening here. And then we're going to return to plank pose. We're going to drop to the knees. I'm going to attempt to demo Eka Pada Koundinyasana 1. It's a twisted one-legged arm balance. It's not an easy pose for my body, but it's a fun one to practice. So I'm going to just demo and see where it goes today. So always options. You don't need to try it. You can just watch. So from that twisted, or actually downward facing dog, there's different ways to come into it. First of all, a lot of people like to come into this from Parivritta Trikonasana, side arm balance. I'm going to demonstrate the way of coming from downward facing dog today. So from downward facing dog, you would go ahead and take that right leg up and back, and you would twist across the body. And the aim here is to bring the arms into a shelf positioning. And I need both arms. Ideally, you would just use that left arm. And then you get the leg onto your shelf and your hip. And then you can extend the right leg out and that left leg back. gazing forward. So again, ideally, you try to do that on one tricep. I'm using both for today. And then I would come back. So that's Eka Pada Koundinyasana 1. And we're going to try that from downward facing dog, or you can just take that fallen triangle again. So we're going to find downward facing dog. We'll float the right leg up and back. You're going to go ahead and take the knee and cross the body. So again, feel free to ground the foot, take fallen triangle, or you're going to bend into the elbows. You can try to take the leg on the outside. I'll try the one arm this time. Bend into the arms, and then extend through both legs. So just trying and playing a little bit, and then coming back. Good work. All right, so finding downward facing dog. We're going to take that on the other leg. So the left leg will come up and back. We're going to draw the knee in towards the nose. Inhale back. Knee towards that right elbow. You're going to extend the leg, float it, strength, then bring it down. Root through the left hand, blade of the foot seals down, finding your fallen triangle. And then coming back to plank pose and downward facing dog. So we're going to do that fallen triangle one more time, or you're going to try Eka Pada Koundinyasana 1 on this side. So as you're ready, we'll flip the right leg up and back. We'll twist it over towards the right. Create your shelf. You might want to drop the foot to find that. Create your shelf. Play with it. I'm going to try it with both arms to start. There we go. And then you'd extend the legs out. So playing here. Maybe I'll try one arm this time. So again, it's a practice. Find joy in the practice and trust the process, right? So now I'll try one arm here. There we go. Wherever you're at, we'll return to downward facing dog. We'll take 2 cleansing breaths. A nice deep inhale in. Let it go through the mouth. Another deep inhale. And exhale. We're going to be coming into single pigeon or a 90-90 stretch if you have any issues with your knees. So we're going to go ahead and take that left leg forward, bringing it down to the mat. So single pigeon, that leg would extend out to the back. And we'll work on coming forward. You can always place a prop, like a block, underneath that left thigh. If this doesn't work for your knee, you're going to come into that 90-90 stretch. So the legs are just staggered, and you just find a gentle opening for that left hip. So again, always options. If you have another variation you'd like to do, feel free to take that. So we're going to be taking single pigeon if that's available in your body today. You can always prop up underneath the left hip. And then we're going to take a nice deep inhale, really extend through the spine, and then come on down to comfort. I'm going to offer a twisted variation today. So this is only if you're real comfortable in your single pigeon pose. If not, you can always stay upright or transition back to that 90-90 stretch. So what we're going to do here, the left leg is forward. The right arm is going to go ahead and twist through, kind of like a thread the needle. And then you're going to bring your right ear towards the mat. And then from here, the left arm comes behind the back, reaching for the big toe of the bent knee leg, the left leg. And then you just soften in. A few more breaths wherever you're at. We're going to go ahead and unwind, releasing that left arm back. You're going to bring the hand to the mat. You're going to inhale, unwind from the twist. And we're going to transition by taking the left leg forward, or right leg forward for Janushirsasana. So you're going to take the left foot on the inside of the right leg. You're going to come up onto the sit bones. We're going to take a nice deep inhale in, angle over that right leg, and come on down. You can bend the knee as much as you need to here. You're going to take a nice deep inhale and then extend over the leg, finding your stretch for today. Really breathing into the back body here. So we did a lot of twisting today. So definitely honor your body, drink a lot of water, releases a lot of toxins. And just playing with those different poses that we did and just having fun with it, honoring your body always. Our bodies show up different each and every day. One more full breath. And we're going to go ahead and inhale on up. We're going to take a nice little heart opener here. So we're going to take the left hand behind us. You're going to lift up the seat, ground the right foot down, right arm up and back, just finding a nice front body opener. And then we'll exhale back down. So we're going to transition into our single pigeon on the right leg. So the right leg was going to come forward. So if you need the Z sit, you're just going to stagger the legs, or the 90-90 sit, and then just find that nice stretch reaching forward. If you're coming into single pigeon, honoring your body here, you can always have support underneath that right glute. My calf and shin never come parallel to the mat. It does not feel good in my knee or body. So I just have it angled to where it feels nice, and I'm still getting the outer hip stretch on the right side. So if you're ready, you're going to transition on down, finding that stretch in the right outer hip and the front of the left leg. If you would like the twisted variation, you're comfortable in the pose. You're going to take the left arm, thread it through the right, then the left ear is going to come down, and then that right hand reaches behind the back for the big toe. A few more breaths here. Softening the face and the jaw. Feeling all the sensations in the body. 2 more full breaths. I'm going to go ahead and gently unwind. We're going to come back on up. We're going to transition into Janusirasana. So we'll take the left leg forward. The right leg's going to root into the inner thigh. We're going to inhale the arms up over that left leg, reaching forward. Bend the knees as much as you need to. And then really find your stretch for today. Breathing into that back body. Releasing the QL muscles into the sides of the lower back. Two more full breaths. And we're going to go ahead and come on up. We're going to take both legs forward. We're going to take our arms underneath the thighs. We're going to keep the knees bent. You're just going to walk the heels to comfort and just take a yin style forward fold. So you're just going to keep your spine rounded. The head's just going to reach down towards the knees. Just feeling a stretch into the spine, a little bit into the hamstrings. Finding that extended exhalation breath. So beginning to notice your natural inhale count for now, and consciously doubling out the exhalation. Great way to relax the body and the mind, transitioning from our sympathetic nervous system to our parasympathetic nervous system. One more full breath, extending that exhale. And we're going to go ahead and inhale on up. So this is where you're going to find your pillows or your yoga bolster. We're going to be taking a bolster twist with our bolster, or a side lying shape if you don't feel like twisting too much today. So I'm going to take my pillows. If you have two pillows, that would be great. If you have the bolster, you're just going to bring it to the right hip, and you're going to bring the block to the head of the bolster if you want the side lying variation. So I'm going to demonstrate both, and you're going to figure out what works best for you. So side lying is a little more gentle, and I'm going to take my right arm and I'm going to rest the hand on the block. I'm going to lay down on the bolster of the pillows, and the left arm's going to come overhead to reach for the palm. So I'm getting a really nice stretch along my left side, whole body. So that's option one. Option two is bolster twist, or you can do this over your pillows. You're just going to frame the hands around your pillows or bolster, and you're going to lay the right torso onto the bolster. And just take your gaze to the left and notice how that feels in your left side body. If you want more, you can take the gaze to the right. That really intensifies the stretch quite a bit. And I want you to close your eyes with whatever variation you have chosen. Taking those deep, full breaths with the extended exhalation. And just soften in. Let the bolster or the pillow support you. We're going to hold here for a good minute or two, letting the body begin to relax, but yet get an amazing twist for the body. Vision is the art of seeing what's invisible to others. Vision is the art of seeing what's invisible to others. It's a quote from Jonathan Swift. Each and every one of us are created for an amazing purpose in this world. And you alone can feel those strong visions in the heart and the soul. Just allowing yourself to really honor those. Maybe meditate upon them or pray on them, knowing that divine will and timing will bring them forth. Sometimes it's a strong yes. Sometimes it's a firm no. And sometimes it's just a not yet. Three more full breaths this side. And very slowly, if you have the head in the extreme position, make sure you transfer it back to the left side before you get up. We'll draw the hands under the shoulders and slowly unwind here. This pose is very strong. You don't realize it until you come out how much it does for your body. And just extend the legs out long, give them a shake. And then we're going to switch our bolster to the other side or our pillows. So finding this on the left side, and then you're welcome to take that side lying variation, and you have the block option for the arm and hand. So wherever you're at, you're going to take a nice deep inhale, and you'll come on down in whatever variation you've chosen here. So you have the left side coming down onto the pillows or the bolster. And immediately just drop in. Just let yourself settle in, relaxing the shoulders, the neck, and the jaw. Those full deep breaths. Just allowing a little more meditation and prayer time. Just allowing yourself to really notice the vision that's been in there that you've been honoring, or maybe there's new ones that are arising that you want to acknowledge and intercede for. A few more breaths here. And very gently, if you have your head in the extreme position, bringing it back to the right side. We're going to draw the hands under the shoulders. We'll inhale on up. Again, you'll release the legs out in front, give them a little shake. So we're going to take a child's pose and then Shavasana. So if you have your pillows or bolster, we will use that for Shavasana. So we're going to go ahead and just find a child's pose, just a great way to neutralize the twist that we did on both sides of the body. So go ahead and take the knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. Bringing the arms down. And I'm going to offer the arms or the hands above the head sealed together today. Just a nice Anjali Mudra above the head. I embrace the visions in my heart and soul. I trust that they'll manifest in divine will and timing. Honoring any intentions you've set for your practice. Hold the vision, trust the process. One more full breath. We're going to go ahead and release the arms forward. Use the strength of the arms to bring you on up. Transitioning on our backs for Shavasana. So I'm going to have my bolster underneath my knees. I'm going to offer a couple of options. You can always angle the bolster a little bit to get more of a release for the hip flexors. So I'm going to go ahead and just angle my bolster a little bit forward like this if you have a bolster. If not, just the pillows underneath the knees are great. Coming on down. Finding a nice space where you can just relax, arms at the sides. Just drawing the shoulder blades through the chest, opening up through the heart space. Softening the shoulders away from the ears. Moving the mouth around or taking a yawn or a swallow. And then letting go. Letting go of tension held anywhere in the body. Taking a few seconds here to consciously relax those areas where you tend to grip or hold on to. Or maybe you're gripping to that vision. Maybe you need to just let it go and let divine will and timing work its course. Shavasana. You are welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. If you're ready to transition, just beginning to notice the breath, your breath of life flowing freely, each breath a purpose. Bringing some gentle movement to fingers and toes, rocking the head gently side to side. If it feels right, you can take a full body stretch. I'm going to go ahead and place a bend into the knees. Hug the knees into the chest, transitioning into a fetal position on either side. And just noticing here the effects of the practice. The body relaxed, the mind calm, and the spirit at peace. Just knowing you can come here at any time, just by connecting with the breath. Maybe taking that one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly for that 10 seconds to center. Just to take yourself out of your mind and back into the body, grounding. Taking all the goodness from your practice today into the rest of your day, staying calm and centered, no matter what comes your way. Remembering to hold the vision and trust the process. We'll use the strength of the arms to make our way into a comfortable seat. Once you find that comfortable seat, we'll go ahead and draw the hands into heart center, keeping the eyes closed. Just taking a few breaths here, fully integrating our practice, allowing yourself a few moments to listen and receive. It's a true honor and a pleasure to guide you through your practice. Thank you for sharing your beautiful presence with me. From the light within me, I honor and respect the light within you. Walk in grace and peace and shine bright, my friend. Much love and namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. You can stay connected with me on my website, loveserveinspire.com.